Hello guys, Adam here from the student experience team, and today we have an alumni talk with a very special alumni of Dublin Business School, Gabriela Murillo Valdes, and hopefully Gabby's going to join us now, and I see she's joined the conversation already, so we're going to get Gabby to jump in and have a conversation with us about her experience in DBS and her journey into industry. Currently, she has a previous jobs in DBS Students Union, working in Twitter, and is currently a program manager in LinkedIn. So Gabby has just sent us a link there. So we're into the virtual room right now, and we'll get her to join in. Hey, Gabriela, how are you?
I'm good. I'm nervous.
You're nervous? Oh, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Why would you be nervous, Gabby?
I don't know. A lot of people watching, I guess.
You see, I think I'm more nervous when I'm going to ask you. Maybe is that why you're Is that why you're worried?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
that as well.
But it's good to see. I'm having a bit of a bad hair day now myself. But
In
you're
quarantine,
looking
today
you're
is a bad hair day for you, no?
every day's a bad hair day. Yeah, of course. But you're looking very lovely, Gabby. I hope you're yeah.
I actually am wearing like normal clothes and makeup since the quarantine started.
Every day, yeah.
I haven't wear like normal clothes or makeup since the quarantine. Yeah, it
Oh
started.
wow. So you've
Yeah,
done
I
well
go
since
with
the
like jeans or something and like no makeup and
It's like
yeah,
70 days of kind of, yeah, that's
you
great.
know. Yeah.
It's like you feel so liberating now, do you? It got,
Yeah, it feels good. My skin is better, I think, because of not wearing makeup. But
that's good. That's good. Now, but thanks very much for joining us today. And I've got a couple of questions anyway. So, like, essentially, just going to catch up with you, see how you're getting on. I suppose we'll look back on your time in DBS, your time in DSU, talk about your pathway into, where you are now. You've had some really kind of nice jobs, and you've had a nice career path from, being a student, being in a students' union, then coming into, you started off, you had your internships during college and after college, and now you're working at LinkedIn, and a very desirable company by a lot of our students, and people across Ireland, I guess. So we'll find out a bit more about that and what people are doing. So if anyone wants to put any questions into Gabby, you can fire them into the comments box below, and we'll answer them as they come in. So yeah, Gabby's a bit nervous today, so not very like her, So, but where are you in the world now? You're obviously still in
I'm in
Dublin, right?
Dublin. I'm in
Okay.
Dublin. I'm in the city center, so a lot of people around me actually breaking the quarantine. So I'm trying to be at home all the time, so I
Yeah.
don't get to find people in the street.
You're kind of near Mountjoy kind of square type thing, so I'd say there's
Yeah.
a hub of activity there type thing, yeah.
A lot of activity, especially with these days that is sunny and like nice and warm outside.
Mm.
Everyone is just enjoying the weather.
Okay.
But yeah, hopefully everything is gonna go back to normal and I will be able to see someone else's faces that is not my boyfriend.
Oh jeez, yeah, that can be, yeah. Are you at the stage there where like their footsteps body you, or think, how they chew food, or yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that going on.
Yeah.
But how have you been dealing with the lockdown? How have you been kind of, I suppose, personally, or
Well, I'm from like I grew up in Spain and all of that, and Spain was really affected.
mm,
So I think I was a little bit more paranoid than everyone else because
hmm
I know like a lot of people who were affected by it.
hmm
So I didn't leave my house since the quarantine started. I was only going to the shop, and really that's all. And even though I was just doing that and being careful, I got coronavirus. So
Oh, did you? Oh, jeez, I didn't know that.
yeah.
Oh God, were you tested for it?
Yeah, I did. I went to Croke Park and they did the testing there. And I had like fever for a month and I couldn't leave my house for a month.
Oh
And I
wow.
was actually very sick. Like I was sick, but it could have been worse, you know. So I'm grateful for that.
Okay. Jesus, I didn't know that. Well, you look great now, and you look very healthy now. So it's great to see you've kind of come through it and everything like that. So I suppose a lot of people who are relieved to have had it because they've built up the antibodies and I suppose they hopefully won't be susceptible to it again. So hopefully you're part of that group anyway. But
Yeah, I really hope.
yeah, and you're obviously out of work then for a while as well, were you? You're
I
unable
think,
to.
to be honest, I was out of work for only 3 days, and then I am gonna be home, you know, anyway, and I'm not doing anything, so it kind of kept me distracted, you know, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it makes me feel like a little bit more like active, so
yeah.
I didn't.
I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with. It's having goals and having places to be and having things to do and stuff like that, like which is a big challenge. But
My manager knew, so he was really good, and he knew that maybe I wasn't able to give my 100%, but I was still like, you know, working. He was very understanding.
okay, that's good. And your family are okay and stuff like that.
Yeah, everyone's
Okay,
fine. I had a couple of friends who had it, and who like family members like died because of it. But
oh God,
yeah, I mean, Spain is kind of normal, you know.
yeah.
Everyone affected, so.
Oh geez, I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, and I suppose, yeah, like that's the reality of life now, isn't it? Like it's that's why everyone kind of had to flatten the curve and do their bit and stay home and stuff like that and stop the spread. And
Ida is saying, give a shout out there. Hi, Ida.
Ira, hello Ira. I hope you are well. I hope you're staying at home and washing your hands as well. Ira was intern with us as well, and we might get Ira. Ira, will you come on to the next maybe alumni talk or next talk? Let's say we wait for a comment on where she's
You
probably
like
she was too shy. She'd be worse than you, Gabby. But I suppose and how are you looking after yourself? What are you doing? How are you
well,
maintaining your well-being and your balance in your life type thing?
I'm trying to exercise every day,
Mm,
since like I gained a lot of weight because I wasn't able to move for a whole month.
mm.
So I'm like working out every day. I'm on a diet, and I'm trying to be healthy, and I'm learning Italian actually.
Oh, okay. How's that going?
It's going well. You know, I download Duolingo, and I have many Italian friends, so I'm just trying to practice a little bit with them, and it's nice.
Yeah. And that's obviously important for your job as well, that you kind of have as much a dual dialect as you can, like, because once you can communicate with other people, because I'd say, particularly in the likes of LinkedIn, because you have different markets, I'd say it's very impressive the amount of people you come across that have not just two languages, but three and four. And yeah, it's very humbling, I'd say, for,
It is
for, um,
many people who like everyone speak at least two languages, at least.
yeah.
So yeah, like very, very talented people there. So
And
many.
I think that's a big part of today is to, I suppose, give people that insight into what the working world is like because, it's very safe in the little goldfish bowl of college, but then you get into the big world and there's people who are very, talented and they're, very hard working and, multiple language and you can even see they've inspired you to practice on Duolingo and, be using your spare time more productively or effectively maybe is probably the best way to describe that. But good. Can you give us any Italian right now? Could you teach me some Italian? Come on.
Um, what do you want me to say? I don't know.
You tell me, man. Like, how can you say
Um,
hello, everyone? I'm
ciao,
Gabby.
ciao.
Ciao is hello and goodbye in thing, isn't it? In Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No,
that's
arrivederci is goodbye.
okay. Well, introduce yourself like a phone call. Hi, it's Gabby calling here
Io
from
sono
LinkedIn.
Gabriela, io sono ragazzi, io I don't know what else to say.
If we have any Italian viewers in here right now, can we just verify that was Italian because I can't, unfortunately.
It's fine, it's fine. You know, I said it perfectly.
Okay. But I suppose moving forward, we'll talk a little bit about your time in DBS. You done an undergrad in digital marketing, is that right?
Yeah, marketing and digital media.
Oh, marketing and digital media. Okay. What was that like?
It was really nice. It was only 3 years, but it was a level 8, which wasn't normal for me because in Spain every degree is 4 years. So that for me was amazing. And my experience was really good. I thought because I really liked what I did, it was easy for me. You know, I didn't had to study very much because I was enjoying like what I was studying. So yeah, it was really good, and the best time was in the student experience, of course.
Of course, of course. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I suppose for anyone doing digital media, I know you were running social media accounts and you know, marketing type things for a company, so you were able to apply a lot of stuff that you were learning. So Adam, speak a bit of Irish for the Ira has just said in. Neil Shea Air School. So I'm not in school today, unfortunately, so I can't Ira. Today's about Gabby actually, so I'm trying to keep the focus here. But I suppose it's very important that you're practicing it as well. Like, you know, that you're did you miss college, Gabby? Do you miss college? And Megan has just said.
Yeah, I do
Of
miss.
course.
I miss the people. You know, I miss. I also miss like not having a responsibility. You know, because when I was in college, of course, I was working as well, but I kind of like could choose if I wanted to go to class or not.
Of course, yeah.
Now is I need to go to work every day, and there is no like excuses for that. So
I think
I
Van's
miss.
question was, did you miss college or not? Do you miss college? So did you miss college? Did you miss going to classes? And I think you did, Gabby. You never went to class.
I never went to class.
I'm only joking. She's only joking.
The 3 years was 30%.
Well, that's just swiping in. So that's
Yeah.
what was that?
I was going from time to time just to like know what I had to do, but you know.
Okay, you kept
I
on. So,
speak fast, so.
but you're a practitioner. You're very much involved in the real world of digital marketing and so on. My first question inside the DBS side is: do you remember your first day in DBS?
I did. I do remember. I do. Yeah, I do remember. It was a little bit overwhelming. I remember I arrived 3 weeks after the classes started because I had to solve a few things in Spain. And I remember in my first day, I met Fatma and Hamed.
Oh yeah. Oh God,
They were in my class. So
there's a throwback for anyone who's been a follower of the student experience for the last 3 or so years. I don't know if Hamid or Fatima are tuning in, probably not. But they were two great students as well, yeah. But sorry, go ahead.
It was their first day as well, so it was good for me that I was not the only one who was new on that day. So I kind of like had a good vibe with them, and like I really liked them. So
Well, that's a dangerous. They're a dangerous combination to be a first friends. Holy Jesus! Here we go. So Fatima, if you just joined here, Gabby was saying you were a first friend. Oh, I love you, Gabby. Well, she was. Who was crazier, Fatima or Hamad?
Oh, I think we both know the answer.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so they were your first friends, and you kind of build a relationship with them, and they were international students as well, so they probably, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's really good. And I remember my first class was math, and my teacher, I don't remember his name, but I remember he was really nice, and he just explained really good the classes. So my first impression, it was really good.
Okay. Yeah, Fatima's getting a bit embarrassed right now, so we're gonna have to yeah. What's your favorite memory of Fatima?
Uy. My favorite memory. I remember it was
story?
1 week in the whole my whole experience in the university that she decided to go out with me the whole week. So we were going out the whole week.
So what does going out mean?
She didn't like to go out or like go partying, and you know me, I really like it or used to like it.
You partying? I don't know. I'd never associate that with you, Gabby. Well, go ahead. So Fatima tried
And
to
I
keep up with
remember
you.
that week, Fatma, I think I won a bet or something, and she had to go out with me for a week.
I say she slept for 2 months after, did she?
Yeah, the rest of the year she slept. Yeah,
And obviously Hamad was going out with you every night as well.
of
So he
course, yeah.
was,
And Hamid, like, no, because of the bet, he was going out with me every night. Like,
of
no,
course, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, the college had the best years of your life, and I'm sure you're looking back fondly upon them memories now and so
yeah.
on. Yeah, jeez. Um, but yeah, so what was your favorite subject in college, would you say? Do you look back
Um,
and say you really enjoyed one?
I remember, like, I really like digital marketing. I like web design, where I remember we had to use HTML and JavaScript to create our own website. And
Mm.
it was really challenging, but like I learned a lot from it. And now, like, I'm able to apply those, like the knowledge in my work as well. So
Mm.
I like that one. I also like math, economy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I
There's,
think those,
there's
yeah.
a good variety. In terms of talking about the JavaScript and the coding and design of websites, how important is that in your job now? I know that's not your responsibility, but to be aware of them type of tools and skills type thing.
In my current role, I don't really have to use it as much, but
Mm.
in my previous role in Twitter, I kind of had to know a few things to be able to check a few websites
Mm.
and like make sure that the ads were like installed correctly in certain websites. So it helped a lot. It was definitely a key for my job.
And I suppose, like during your time at college, do you feel like you've learned anything about yourself? Like what did you kind of learn? Obviously, that you like to go out and you like to socialize and you like to drag Fatima along with you. But is there anything else you learned maybe about yourself, during
Yeah,
college?
time management was really important for me. Before I came to Ireland, I used to go to school and maybe work a few hours in the afternoon. But when I came to Ireland, I kind of had to earn money to go out, to pay my
Mm.
bills, to pay my rent. So I had different jobs and I was studying full time. So I had to like be really careful in where I spend my time and just like try to be as productive as much like productive as I can. So as much productive as I can, as productive as I can.
As you can. Oh, well, that's okay. And actually, just on that, and like a lot of stuff, we had a feedback meeting with some of our summer-based students at the last week, and obviously our learning is online at the moment, but they're coming to us saying, we really want to improve our English. How did you try to improve your English when you first arrived? Because you obviously arrived from Spain, and English wasn't your first language. What did you do to actively kind of develop? Because your English is phenomenal now, Gabby. So like what did you do to actively improve it, I guess?
I guess just make friends. I was just, hanging out with people from different nationalities
Mm.
and just like getting to know more people and go out and, be
Mm.
social. Like I wasn't like able just to like sit down and study, okay, this is English and this is how you like, no, I was just like talking, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. And I suppose a lot of your friends would have been of international origin as well. Like they wouldn't be Spanish, let's say, so that probably helps because we sometimes see that where a lot of nationalities cluster together and in their spare time they're probably speaking their native language. So it's probably important that they maybe make kind of increase their network type thing of different people. Would it be right in that sense?
Yeah,
Mm.
I think I don't have any Spanish friends in Dublin from university. The
Mm.
only person I speak Spanish with in university was Stephanie, that she's
Oh,
from
yeah.
Canada, but everyone else, yeah, they were in Spanish.
Okay. And where was your favorite place to hang out when you were in DBS?
The common room, obviously, or the
The
office.
common room and the
Yeah,
office. Oh, yeah, yeah. We've
just
upgraded the
to
office now.
bother you a little bit.
You can't sleep in there anymore. People used to take naps and everything else in there. But that's now prohibited now. So
Good.
it's a productive place now, which is good. So
That's good.
yeah. And what was your would you have a favorite kind of memory of time in DBS type thing or
Yeah, definitely the trip to Fuerteventura.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
surf trip or Bundoran, even like all the trips to Bundoran to surf or yeah, Fuerteventura as well.
Mm. I do think that the away trips are always very memorable. They're always very long and very enduring, but I think they're always, lifelong memories. I even know, even this week, the Tanzania trip was this time last year for a lot of students, and they're probably looking back and so on. And I think Mexican restaurants were definitely her thing. I don't
Yeah.
want, is that an inside joke, I think, is it?
No, it's true. Like Mexican restaurants are my thing. I love Mexican food.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, laughing.
No, it's
Um,
true. It's true. It's just
Fatima.
I'm obsessed with Mexican food. Oh, my cousin is there. Hi.
um, do you still have your DBS student card?
I do, and I still use it because the expiring date is not there anymore. So I keep on saying I'm a student, and for discounts to the cinema or things like that, I still use it.
Can we see it? Have you got it there?
And no, let me see.
Uh-oh, this is Jesus. Gabby. That's been through the mail.
The
That's a
date is
scam.
not there anymore.
That's fraud. Oh my goodness. Oh, what do you think of that? That is disgraceful. Carry on. And I suppose, obviously, an important piece of your time in DBS, you were with the Students' Union. Who was kind of in your team then when you were when you were part of the SU?
In my team, in the entertainment events team was Deo and Pam.
Oh yeah,
And I remember the student president was Emma
Emma
uh,
O'Sullivan. Yeah.
Sullivan, vice president James Robert, sport Daniel Dan,
Oh
uh,
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Megan. Yeah.
and Megan was societies,
Oh yeah.
and who else was there? Yeah, I don't remember who
And I
else.
think Anne and Dan were very close that year as well. I think they were good friends
Yeah,
that
I
year as
think
well,
you
which
were.
was,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if Anne is still listening. Maybe she's gone. Maybe she's logged out. And Borky, yeah, Jamesy was there as well.
And oh
James
yeah,
was.
James Work and Pablo. You remember?
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, Jamie Nevin. Jamie
Yeah.
Nevin, not Pablo. Yeah, yeah. And I suppose, do you remember any events that you ran? Like, obviously, that was a big part of because you were the ENTS officer, Gabby, weren't you? You were part of the ENTS team. Do you remember any events? I'm sure you had plenty of headaches trying to run them, but can you remember any events that you guys ran or the team ran?
I remember the one that it was really successful and it was organized by me,
Of course. What else?
the international week, the international fair with all the food and like
Oh
the.
yeah, yeah.
And I remember we danced Macarena. Remember?
I do remember that. Yeah, yeah. I think that was the first year of it, Gabby. I think, was it?
It was the first year we did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And like that's actually still gone. And I think the success of the event is the continuity of it. Like and I think that's probably our third or fourth year of it now, Gabby, which is great. Yeah. So it's 2020. No, there was a 2019 one. So that would have been this year, and it was really good. So, geez, I forgot you. Yeah, that was your start
Yeah.
as Ensof. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
it
stuff.
was
Yeah.
really, really good that event. I remember we represented Spain and Venezuela.
Oh, okay. You were a dual nationality that year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, that's something to be proud of. So good stuff. And I suppose we're actually in the process of going through our new students union. Would you have any advice for the guys coming through the ranks right now who are looking to become part of the SU or to take up a leadership role within it?
I think get involved as much as you can and just try to participate and get to know the other students and integrate the new international students. Get to know other cultures and try to enrich yourself with that. And if you see that maybe there is a lack in something in the student union, something that you would like to incorporate there, maybe try to bring it to Adam and try to be proactive doing that maybe.
And I think actually a big part of it is definitely the cultural awareness now. It's being aware of different ethnicities, different profiles of people, different cultures, because particularly with the way business is, and I suppose the big part of what we're talking about today is we talk about next about your company and stuff, how big the cultural kind of thing is, because there's such a diverse markets you're working in, such diverse populations and teams and so on. So it's kind of good to get a more aware. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And what would you say was the biggest challenges for you to setting up events and being a student leader, do you think, during your time? Bar the sleepless nights and this stresses maybe, or
I think it was also the time management, because I had a
mm,
lot of other things going on in my life at the same time, and it was my last year when I was part of the student union, so I
mm,
also had to study for my exams and do assignments, and I was also working with kids and in a creche and doing my internship at the same time, so it was a lot of things going on. So maybe I was trying to invest a lot of time in the student experience, but I had to
mm.
be mindful that that was only one of my priorities.
I actually forgot about that. Yeah, because you were doing you had a job where you were taking care of children and stuff like that, and then you had your internship where you were practicing your industry skills. You're in the SU studying part time as well, so you were very very busy. So like looking back now, it's no wonder you're in the position that you're in, because you're so tenacious in getting yourself as rounded as possible. So no wonder you're where you are now, Gabby. I suppose, what kind of skills do you think you learned from serving in them? You mentioned time management and different groups you're involved with, but is there anything else you might have learned through your time in having kind of multiple roles, let's say, during college?
Um, just be proactive. Maybe don't wait until someone tells you something. Just like take advantage of the time and do it yourself,
Hmm.
and just yeah, try to do your best, I guess.
Hmm. And I suppose being involved in a team and stuff like that, do you think that was kind of a big part
Yeah,
of
yes,
like
being
that's
involved in teams. I know even though you are not in the student experience, you're not involved in the experience. When you are doing assignments in college, you have to be involved in your team. So try to
mm,
maybe learn about that, see the different personalities that you can um, meet while you are in a team, and yeah,
mm,
try to take advantage of that so you can later use it in wherever you're working.
mm. Because you start to see that that's such a big thing. And I don't think the group stuff really resonates with students, because ultimately you go into a team and you're dependent on multiple people to produce work, and work you do by yourself is very, very small. Like, you're always kind of collaborating and depending on other people, and they're kind of it's the people skills that you need to maybe master while you're in college, and begin to explore, because it's so important when you go to industry, that I think people are kind of left behind.
Definitely. You will always have to work in a team. Wherever you work, you will always have to work in a team. So
Mm,
uh, if that's something that you don't do good, then work on that, because that's
mm,
gonna happen, I guess.
mm. Oh, thank and that's kind of we're kind of I do have the last point in the DVS experience part, and it's I can't chat to Gabby without not mentioning Forteventura. So is that yeah that you're the translator, the coordinator, the facilitator, the enabler, everything. You were the enforcer of the whole trip. Do you have any good memories of Forteventura, or any good I don't know. Yeah. What was your highlight of the Fatima said best trip ever? Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that.
because
I don't remember seeing Hamid that much over there, but I think he was asleep for most of it. But even though I barely saw her, yeah. Any
uh,
any memories you'd like to share? Anything? No,
I will say that surfing was great. The weather was amazing. You know, I was in my country, so I was
of
able to speak
course.
Spanish. The food was
And
amazing.
Carnival was on as well, wasn't it?
Alba was there as well. Yeah, her
Yeah.
country. And we were all friends, so I think that was
No,
the
no,
high.
the Carnival was on. Carnival.
Was it there? Like, really? I don't
Oh,
remember.
it was on. Sorry, it was on during that time. So there was a lot of there was a lot of festivities on there as well, which is great. But
Yeah.
um, but no, good stuff, good stuff. We a lot of comments coming in there, so we will We will move on. So to life after DBS. That's a Spanish. You're gonna have to translate
Yeah.
that one, Gabby. What does that
That
mean?
I look like a celebrity doing a Instagram direct or
Oh.
yeah. Yeah.
Ooh la la. But I suppose life after DBS, so you obviously graduated, and I think you were kind of doing an internship kind of towards the end of your time at DBS, and you continued with that. And I remember you coming into the office uh, during that transition before, because your first job was Twitter, and I remember you saying, "Oh my God, I'm never going to find a job. It's so annoying. I'm applying everywhere." And then I think literally 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, you said, "Oh, madam, I get a job on Twitter," and I'm like that's the holy grail for graduates to go to a big tech company and who kind of look after their employers. So and you're for anyone just tuning in, Gabby's kind of pathway was graduate. You had some obviously worked really hard in college or in the students' union. You went on, served an internship kind of in between the end of college and at the start of your first graduate job, which was in Twitter, and you were kind of you were looking after kind of campaigns during Twitter. Is that right? You're kind of a campaign kind
Yes.
of coordinator in there, and then you're currently working in LinkedIn. So that's been a kind of a journey. So what was it like kind of going to Twitter? That's a dream graduate job for first job for someone leaving college. What was that like for you moving in there? Like, was it a big step up?
When I first received the news that I was actually accepted in the role,
Mm.
it was just so happy because I was looking for a job for 3 weeks and I'm not patient.
3 weeks. There's people looking for a job for 3 years, Gabby.
No,
3 weeks.
at least a month or something, but I wasn't working. I needed money. I needed to pay my rent, I
Of
needed
course,
to
yeah.
pay my bills and um I'm not patient as well, so that wasn't good. And so yeah, it was really really good, super exciting news for me, and it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I did marketing, so ads and coordination was something that I really really wanted. So it was
Mm.
it was great, and then my experience there was amazing as well. I met so many nice people, and
Mm.
it was amazing. Yeah.
Was it obviously Twitter's a global company, I don't even know how many employees they have worldwide, but was it a big step up from being a graduate? You're learning in the class environment, you've had of course lots of life experience and lots of jobs as well, but going into a big kind of tech company with all sorts of levels of management and responsibilities. Was it a big step up? Were you overwhelmed going in, or was it okay that you had enough skills kind of coming into the job?
Um, it was different, I guess.
Mm,
There is so many, as you said, managers and so many people over you, and
mm,
you need so much training and so many rules that you need to follow and
mm,
comply that you need to apply. And
mm,
so it was a lot, to be honest, especially in my
mm.
first months. I will say it was a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Um, but at the end it was good, you get used to it and you get to learn how you actually at the beginning it was okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but then you keep on learning, and you know that you need to do this in the morning and you need to
Mm,
check the calendars. The big thing for me it was that I had many meetings during the day,
mm,
and I wasn't used to it before,
hmm.
so I had to
Yeah.
to check at my calendar in the morning to see what I had to do and organize my day before I start working. And
Mm,
so
mm.
it's a big change, I would say.
I think that's a very good point. And for anyone tuning in, a lot of students would like to follow in your footsteps, Gabby. And I think that's a thing that they need to embrace early on is the use of technology and for balance in their life, because you have to implement, your leisure time, social time, study time, work time, anything else. And life can be so much easier when you put them into little scheduled and calendars type thing. And I think that's available to everyone right now. So they should be really starting early on with that type of thing, and so that was an adaptation period for you, was it? Kind of getting used to technology, getting used to using, calendars and invitations type thing.
And
And
especially the policies you need to follow in those big companies. There is so many policies that you need to follow. You're not just allowed to say something. You need to say it in a certain way, and there is so many little things that you need to learn. And at the beginning, it was a little bit frustrated because maybe you say something and then you realize you cannot say that because there's something that maybe you didn't remember. So it's kind of like a lot to take in at the beginning, but after a while you learn, I guess.
And that's an interesting one because that's a kind of, would that be a company culture type thing, would it? Or would it be kind of like, is it like you just can't say certain things? Is that
No,
like in your training, or is it just something that kind of people conform to, or?
no, I think it's something that you need to learn because in any big companies you have like they need to protect themselves, so you cannot just say something, and especially with Twitter that is like such a big platform and is freedom of speech. You need to look at certain things that you can say and you cannot. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a big learning curve, like, you know. Um, so, like, how did you manage not getting overwhelmed, or how did you manage kind of that transition for yourself? Was it just day by day and just, or were you just so motivated to be part of a big company that you were just so, you would do kind of anything type thing, or what do you?
Yeah, I was just maybe asking like my coworkers, asking my managers for support. I was trying to like self-study myself and try to, uh, you know, get up to speed and yeah, basically ask questions. And I had a buddy with me, so my buddy was just helping me with all the questions that I had, and yeah, and it was a big how do you say difference, no, like between when I started and after 3 months I was just not like using my body anymore. I was
Yeah.
helping other people because everyone was new as well. After 3 months we had like 10 new employees, so I was the one helping them after a while, so it
Yeah.
was nice.
That's a good system. And I suppose just listening to you there, like that's a good communication skill that you had, and I suppose you're very likable, Gabby, and I'm sure people are willing to help you. And I think that's an important thing, that you're able to call upon support from other people is an important skill for other people to be developing right now. And then I suppose you moved on from Twitter into a new program manager role in LinkedIn. So how's that been going for you?
It's great. I love it so much, and I'm learning so much, and I learn every day. I've been in the role for I think 7 months or 8 months now, and all my coworkers are like super nice, and I can't complain. I'm absolutely happy there.
Okay. And so what's a typical day like for you in LinkedIn? Well, I suppose now it's obviously a lot different. Well, let's say now, what's a typical day like for you now?
Well, we are running a lot of webinars. My department, I work for the sales readiness department, which is the department that organizes all the trainings for sales reps in LinkedIn. And so we are having a lot of webinars and trainings for them. So I kind of take care of the logistics behind all the trainings and the data analytics of the learner tools that we use to collect feedback or send them pre-work or post-work after the webinar. So it's very, very busy because now we're not able to have in-classroom events as
Of
before.
course, yeah.
So everything is online, and we have so many meetings in one day because we need to organize it, and also we have the main event, so it's like meeting after meetings every day. A lot.
And I know, I suppose on a different, like just from a worker to a worker type thing, how do you manage if you're just going to meeting after meeting after meeting, you're constantly talking about things, but you're not actually getting anything done. So how do you allocate your time to get things done, or how do you manage that type of thing?
Can you
Because
repeat because the internet?
no, you're okay. Like I know, for example, you're hearing a lot of cases of people, you're having meetings about meetings, and you're constantly involved in meetings, but you're not actually moving any of your workload forward, because you're constantly having to sit in on Hangouts or sit in on Zoom calls type thing. So how do you get your stuff forward if you're constantly involved in meetings?
Well, I try to apply the same thing, try to spare the meetings as much as I can. So at least I have a couple of hours between one meeting to another, so I can like get a little bit done before I have another meeting, and then I try to also finish my meetings at 4. So at least I have from 4 to 6 to plan the day after, and whatever I have to do for that day.
And would I be right in saying that you're involved in kind of multiple project groups? So you could be involved in maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe more projects kind of at any given time type thing?
Yeah, and at the moment I'm working for the talent solution, but inside one product you have many different projects and seminars and webinars and trainings. So there is so much going on just in one training. There is a lot of work behind it. And from next Monday, actually, I will be supporting all line of businesses. So I will be supporting all LinkedIn products. So it's going to be even more work from Monday. So I'm excited about that as well.
Okay, that's really exciting. Yeah, geez. And I suppose, what kind of skills do you think, like what's really important if you are recruiting someone for your team to kind of help you do what you do, what would you say is really important for them to have, like in terms of skill set? Do they have to be, very dependable, independent working, social, team player, attention to detail with their work? Do they have to be very thorough? What type of stuff is very important for?
They will definitely need to be able to work in a team, because we work with many different sales reps and sales departments. So we need to be able to work with them. We need to pay attention to detail, because if you like put some like a small thing will make a difference in the feedback. So it's very important to pay attention, and maybe data analytics as well is very important in my role. You need to and be able to use Excel and all Google products, but because we are also LinkedIn is on to Microsoft, like you need to use as well Microsoft products as well. So
so Teams and all their kind of their suite, I guess, of software is very important. So anyone listening, there are things you need to become familiar with, to be using, and to be kind of to build up in terms of your knowledge around that, like and do you have to collaborate with other people? Are you depending on work from other people, or are you pushing it, work to them, or which way is it? Which direction do you kind of have stuff coming and going?
Yes, I depend on other people 100%. I need to like just pin people every day saying like, can I have this? Can I have that? And maybe that person doesn't have it, so you need to keep on following up and try to arrive to the top of the chain to be able to get whatever you want. So you kind of need to know as well, have a good relation with everyone, so you know what is happening and where to find the information that you need. Is something that is a must in my role, I guess.
And it's interesting, like just hearing you talk about, depending on other people for different things. And obviously the pandemic right now is a crazy situation for everyone. And it's, we're seeing students, having different challenges in terms of getting ready for exams, getting assignments complete, communicating with lecturers. And I think this has given people an opportunity to become really self-disciplined. So for example, in your work environment, like you're working from home, your company, your manager, and the people around you trust you to be allowed to work from home, and you're going to get your work done. So obviously self-discipline and independent working are a big part of what you do. But do you think that students, I suppose, learning online now at the moment is an opportunity for them to get ready for the modern working world? Would I be right in saying that? Or
yes, because you need to, like, now that things are not in person, you need to use so many tools that maybe you will have to use once you work in an organization. So definitely will help them, and kind of like being independent. You will not have someone over you like looking at you all the time. So that freedom will allow them to use that time management and like get the things that they need to do.
And I think that independence has to be kind of earned, or whatever, right? Because you obviously have to develop that and to, develop them skills. And I think we're seeing students that maybe haven't developed that independent type of learning, and that maybe the discipline to, schedule their day and to get their workload done are maybe struggling right now. And it's probably, instead of them, being frustrated, they should probably look at it as a challenge to maybe learn about themselves, because it's going to be a bigger thing going forward. I think, like, you're obviously in industry now. Working from home is going to be a big part of your life now, I guess, from your organization. Is that right?
Yeah, we haven't heard if we're gonna be able to work from home forever or not. But even before the quarantine, we were able to work from home, and I used to work from home maybe at least once a week. And I know Twitter announced 2 weeks ago that we'll be able to work from home forever.
For life, yes.
Yeah. So I think the world is changing, and we need to adapt. So this is just another thing we need to get used to.
Yeah, and I think for any students out there that maybe are studying now during the summer period and are finding it frustrating, like, I think definitely look at it as an opportunity to, develop yourself and to change and to grow, I suppose, because the discipline you need to work from home, because there's a lot of distractions, there's a lot of your environment is very different, so you have to become self-sufficient and dependent, I guess, and ultimately you have to deliver in productivity. So that's the important thing. So you have to learn how to do that, and then to communicate more, because you can't just turn your chair and say, can I get a hand with this, or can you take a look at this? You have to leave them a message, you have to set up a call. It takes time, and like in a day you'll probably have 5 video calls with someone, whereas you could call someone over your desk like 30 times, and it's so you have to be more efficient, I guess. And when you get someone's attention, you have to be ready with information type thing, like, it's very interesting. I suppose, I know I caught up with you already, but you're in a really diverse team right now, aren't you? Like, there's different profiles, different different cultures, even different age profiles. So what's that like, working in different age groups and different cultures? It must be a challenge for
It is. Right now I'm working in a really senior team, and everyone in my team is have many years of experience, and I'm kind of the new baby, let's say. But it's challenging, because I know maybe they know more than me, but I try to get my point across, and like try to give my opinion and my ideas, and I'm learning from them. I cannot say anything else, but I'm learning, and it's a great experience to see, maybe even ask them like what they did before they work in LinkedIn, because they have like 20 years experience. So getting to know their past as well is helping me as well to know what I want to do in 5 years time, maybe.
So I suppose you probably have to be very adaptable then, because the conversations you would have with someone who's maybe your age, or someone who's younger than you, or closer to your age, if someone's let's say twice your age, or from a very different generation, it must be very challenging, because the way they like to work could be very, very different type thing. And so what's that been like? Did you have to adapt, I suppose, the way you communicate and link in with them, or?
Definitely. My team in San Francisco, most of them, they are my age, and they are like around my age. So the way I communicate with them is completely different than the way I communicate to my director. Is like completely different. With my director, I'm much more professional, and I try to take care of what I say, and like look after my language. And with the San Francisco team, it's more like I'm talking with my friends almost, and it's completely different.
And I think that's a big thing that's required for people now, that you have to be very adaptable, and you have to be kind of have a dual personality, because you know you have to have the serious time, the fun time, the creative time, and I think people need a range of kind of skill, you know, not personalities, but they need levels of, you know, of fun, and you know where you're, you know, being productive and delivering on things, because when you're, particularly when you're with, I think, yeah, such a diverse team, it's a real challenge, and like that's fascinating. So you have a team in San Francisco, so you probably never met them face to face, have you?
I never met them face to face. I actually
Wow.
just one girl that flew to Dublin a few months ago, but she left the
Hmm.
company. So yeah, like, but I feel like I know them in person. Like, I think actually one of them is watching the live right now.
Oh, really? Well,
But
hello if you are.
they're amazing, and yeah, I kind of see them every day in the screen, and I feel like I know them in person.
Wow, isn't that fascinating? Like, and that's the future, like, you know, and you know, people could be like, there could be students here now who could be meeting lecturers next semester, and you know, they might never meet them face to face, or they could have an employer who's, you know, who hires them, and they, you know, they never meet face to face. So
Yeah.
that must be, I suppose, that really makes the communication piece so much more important, because you don't have the body language as such, but you just have the, you know, the video, and it's,
Yeah. I
I don't
really
know.
like, I know times are changing and this is the new reality, but I really hope everything will go back to normal so I get to know them as well in like in person, and kind of like have a little bit of both. I think is the best.
You just want to
Like,
go to San Francisco, don't lie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every year in LinkedIn they have a trip to Vegas, and
Hmm.
this year was canceled. It was supposed to be in July, but yeah, it's
Oh
canceled.
no. Ah, but maybe next year. Maybe next year. Or maybe they can go to Asturias.
Maybe I
Maybe
can
they
bring
can
studios. Yeah.
put them on the map finally.
Yeah.
Um,
Asturias was always on the map, okay?
I could never find it when you showed me. I could just try and, like, you know, but one day, Gabby, I'm sure we'll we'll put it on the map. Um, What's it like working in the EMEA market? Like, you know, how are you finding that? Like, so you're working with the Middle East, the European, and the African market. What's that
Yeah,
like? Obviously,
I
it's big.
work for EMEA and LATAM. So yeah, it's very different. You have many cultures within one region. You know, we have Spanish and we have Italians. Well, we support all markets in Europe. We don't really support Africa that much. I don't think we have any African markets, but yeah, it's very different, and you need to communicate with them in different ways as well. Like,
Mm,
you cannot talk to a Spanish person as you talk with someone from Dubai. Like, the language
mm.
is completely different.
Okay, and I suppose it's very interesting. Like, you know, obviously, why I think our students in DBS fit so well into, you know, companies like this is, you know, you go into the common room, like your best friend is from, you know, Fatima's from Dubai, like, you know, so you could turn around, there could be someone there from Germany. The international fair you ran, for example, with France, we had like Italy, Venezuela, you know, with lots of countries being represented. So you're building that cultural awareness, you're kind of looking, you're appreciating each other's cultures and their tendencies, how they communicate, and so on. And I think that really prepares people for, you know,
Yeah.
jobs like you're in now. So you have a bit more maybe awareness around that, which is very helpful, I think, you know, for people.
I think in Twitter it was even more different because in my team we used to have Japanese girl,
Okay,
and
well.
it was really, really, really different. They are like super polite, and maybe I will go and say like something straight away. Do you have this? And they are
Hmm.
like, at the beginning they were like reacting like
What the
if I
hell?
was being rude or something. But after a while, I realized I cannot do that. Like me, I
Okay,
need
yeah.
to be like softer. And
Hmm.
after a while, they realized as well that that's my way of communicating as
With
well.
them.
So we I think we found the middle ground.
Okay, okay. Yeah, and that's what, you know, it's, they have to appreciate your culture and so on. So it goes kind of both ways, which is great. And like, Yeah, so there's just a universal Twitter culture. It's not like we're, Japanese or Spanish or Scandinavian or German or whatever. It's just this is how we do things in Twitter, and everyone's in the middle,
Exactly.
which is great. And I suppose this is probably going to close up now in the next 5 minutes because I think you've only got an hour, so it has been great catching up. Um, what advice would you have for kind of graduates who are looking, I suppose, to follow in your footsteps, Gabby, and have a great student experience, obviously, and going into the big companies type thing? What advice during college and maybe beyond would you offer out?
I will say try to get involved in the student life as much as you can. Try to
Mm,
get experience during college, even if like you don't get experience in what you are studying. Try to get like work experience. Just
mm,
working in a shoe shop will help you because you're working in a team. So
mm,
uh, form yourself. Study level 8 degrees. I think that's important. Like
mm,
while I was looking for a job and I used to read the job description, they're looking for people with a level 8 degree most of
mm.
the time. So um, yeah, I will say that try just form yourself and try to get the skills of the job that you want to get, I guess.
Mm. And I suppose, do you feel students, you have guys coming into your team all the time, and when you're into it, you become, very experienced there, and you're probably a mentor to a lot of people coming in and so on. Do you feel that students are ready for, for jobs, or are they lacking some things right now, or like, and you can be honest, or maybe they're perfectly fine, or maybe they're kind of they need a bit more maturing, or maybe they need more. I don't know, because the mentor system seems to be very effective in Twitter and other companies. So obviously there's a need for that transition into work. But what do you think of kind of
I
graduates
think
today?
students are ready, and of course, once they get inside a big organization, it will be a shock for them. But the only thing they need to do is just do their best, follow the trainings. After a while, they will get used to it. Of course, at the beginning, maybe they lack that thing of like maybe don't know how to work in a big organization, but that's something
Mm,
you get with time. If you don't give them the opportunity, then how are they going to learn, right?
mm.
So.
So how
Uh,
do so that's a great point you made there. But how do students show that they're the best ones for them for the position? Do you get me? Like how did you stand out from the crowd, do you think?
I think, to be honest, and I'm not saying it because of you're here, but I think my involvement in the university and the different things I did while I was
Mm,
studying
mm,
stand out from everyone else. I think that was the main thing, and of course, I think how you carry yourself in the interview and how you interact with them as well. Like you need to remember, this is a two-way communication. You're
mhm,
trying to give a good impression to them, but you need to get a good feeling from them as well. And I think
mm,
when I did my interviews, I had that connection with the interviewer, and that's what got me the roles, I think.
mm. So and that's actually, I think that's a really good point about this is just we have 2 minutes left, so we've got 2 minutes. Are you seeing that as well? Yeah,
No,
we've got a minute and 50 seconds anyway. But I think that's a very good point, Gabby, and I think any students who are listening right now are looking to follow Gabby in her footsteps. The interview is obviously the big make or break kind of time for you, and I think connection is the big thing. So it's not just saying how great you are and look at all this great stuff I have and blah blah blah, but it is authentic connection with the people there and the organization. I think that's very very important, so yeah, I think that's great, and I think you've shared a lot of great stuff with us there, Gabby. And I'm very proud to see where you are. You've been a fantastic ambassador, not just for the Students' Union, not just for the college, but for the marketing program, and people who are coming to Ireland to develop themselves and to get into a company that they really want to. So you've you've lived the student dream, I think, in my eyes, because you've basically developed yourself, learned English from kind of scratch, and you know, we couldn't be prouder of you where you are now. So you're really flying the flag for DBS. So you know, long may it continue and so on. And hopefully we'll see you, you know, back in there for a post grad maybe someday. You know, I'm sure you're.
Maybe the next couple of years.
Oh God, well, hopefully things improve and we can all go to Asturias one day. Do you want to shout out the Asturias? You've got about 20 seconds. Is that what you want to say?
I love Asturias. Everyone knows that.
But no, we've got about 15 seconds. But Gabby, thanks very much. It's been great connecting with you, and I hope you're well. Hope you keep well, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon. We'll have to get you in for another talk again soon. Okay.
Perfect.
Gabby,
Bye.
thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care, and see you later. Bye bye.
Bye.